Hello everyone and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name is Ash and you are in luck. This is everything you need to know about PlayStation 5 all in one neat little video. How fun! Whether you're a new owner, a tentative purchaser, or a veteran with years of haptic feedback under your belt, or ideally your fingertips, this video breaks down your whole PS5 experience and points you to more videos that go even more in depth on top of game recommendations and handy console life hacks. If you're interested in the internal wizardry that allows heroes like Ratchet here to look this good, then our PS5 launch guide has the intricate details to help you plan out your space and the console's specs accordingly. Otherwise, this is a lighter approach, helping you set up and get the best out of your console. Video chapters will get you to the most relevant information, but from basic info to helpful tips we've learned from our years on PS5, here's a brand new Ultimate PS5 guide for 2023. Right then, let's start at the very beginning with the physical setup of your PS5. You've got a nice shiny box in your hands. What the hell do you do with it now? Well, first you open it up and huff that lovely new PlayStation smell. Once you're done sniffing, you'll see you've got a few different bits in there. A DualSense wireless controller with charging cable, AC power cord, HDMI cable, safety and quick start guides, the PlayStation 5 itself, and a handy little base that supports both vertical or horizontal mounting. If you're keeping your PS5 in the colour you bought, then you're good to get your base on. To attach horizontally, simply twist your base to this position, find the PlayStation shapes engraved on the back of your PS5, and push the clasps into place on top of the two squares at either end. To attach vertically, twist your base to this position, then open the super secret compartment that's hiding underneath. Your prize for going all Nathan Drake on the situation is a shining silver obelisk, also known as a screw, that you'll use shortly. Remove the cap on the bottom of your PS5, which you can then store safely in the secret compartment like so, then place the base into position so the holes line up to insert your screw. Done! Now isn't that pretty? If your answer is, yeah, but I wish it was in pink, then oh boy are you gonna love this next section. Let's talk about covers. While PlayStation 5 and the DualSense wireless controller come in white as standard, you can pick up console covers and controllers in a range of gorgeous colorways: Cosmic Red, Starlight Blue, Galactic Purple, and Slay Nova Pink. If dark is more your thing, then there are also Midnight Black and grey camouflage options that have a matching Pulse 3D wireless headset too. To change your covers, you're going to need to take off the ones already on your PS5. First, if you got too excited and put your base on already, then take it off and then lie your console on its side, where you can get a firm grip on the cover and pull it upwards and to the right. Putting on a new cover or replacing your original one is as simple as pressing it back into position from right to left. You can watch this in more detail with our video on changing your PS5 console covers popping up on screen now. While we're talking covers, there are other things you can do inside the PS5, like cleaning out any dust buildup. Under the front cover, the one with the PlayStation logo cut out on top, you'll find two holes that serve as dust collectors, which you can place a vacuum cleaner over to remove any dust and debris collected in the PS5. You'll also need to remove the cover if you want to add an M.2 SSD drive, which lets you increase the storage capacity of the PS5. Under the back faceplate, you'll find the expansion slot cover, which you can remove by taking out the screw before sliding it out. Once you've revealed the expansion slot, unscrew the M2 screw that's in there to remove it from its default position. And don't forget to grab the metal spacer that sits underneath it, then insert your M.2 SSD firmly into the slot until you hear a click. Replace the screw at the corresponding height of your SSD to lock it safely in position. Reattach the expansion slot cover and screw it back in securely, pop your PS5 covers and base back on, and you're ready to plug in and get to the good stuff. Games. Even more than ever of them with your newly expanded storage. And now, while we're talking storage, to play PS5 games they need to be installed directly onto your console SSD or an SSD you've added. But you can move games onto a compatible USB drive for storage. This is great for keeping titles you might want to reinstall later, as it's much quicker to copy over than waiting for the game to reinstall from scratch. As well as this, USB drives are a great option for PS4 games as they can be played straight from the connected device rather than requiring the SSD. You can save space, get easy access between consoles, and keep your titles portable this way. Simply plug a USB drive into your PS5 if you've already been using it on PS4, or format a new compatible drive by going to Settings, Storage, Extended Storage, and then selecting Format as Extended Storage. When it comes to installation, PS5 allows you to customize your experience. Compatible games have the option to choose which part to prioritize when downloading. So for something like Call of Duty, for example, you can select the single-player campaign to install first so you can hop on whilst waiting for multiplayer. Or in Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, you can pick which campaign to prioritize first. There's no requirement to install the full game either, so if you're just in it for a single campaign, that's all you need to download. Uninstalling works in the same way to efficiently manage your space. Another hot installation tip, you can download the PlayStation app to your smartphone, which lets you control what you install whilst you're away from your console. Connect to your PS5 for the ability to free up storage space and choose games to install, which can be done instantaneously if your console is in rest mode or queued for later if it's completely off. With games installing, there's plenty more personalization you can set up on the console before you dive into them. Head to your settings menu on the home screen. Hot tip time, to quickly jump from browsing your games or media to the settings tab, you can press the triangle button, then scroll to saved data and game/app settings. Here, you can preset your picks for game difficulty, whether you want to prioritize performance or resolution modes, subtitle preferences, and loads more that makes jumping into games that much quicker, since all your choices are already noted by the system. If your household or pals are using your console, you might want to turn on console sharing and offline play to be able to share your games and PS Plus membership with all users on your PS5 too. You can have one PS5 with this setting turned on, which allows everyone on the console access to your library and Plus benefits without you having to be signed in. It works in much the same way as setting a primary PS4, which you can keep set up alongside the PS5 you use for console sharing. Very handy so no one accidentally loses all your Elden Ring runes whilst just wanting to take a look at what it's all about. Thanks, Dad! So, what games will you download or buy first to make use of all these snazzy features then? We've got all kinds of top 10 videos linked in the description that delve into the library. But if you're looking for that initial wow factor, we would massively recommend Astro's Playroom that comes installed on the PS5. You could go for Elden Ring or the Demon's Souls remake if you want the sting of difficulty to go with your eye-searing beauty. Rob would advise Final Fantasy XVI, which has a chunky 2-hour demo for a free sample. And you really can't go wrong with Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok to see the cutting edge in both tech and big emotional storytelling on PS5. If you've already been playing the console loads, what would you suggest as the very first game you should play? Let us know in the comments below. There's also the PS4 library to tap into. More than 99% of PS4's 4,000 plus games are backwards compatible on PS5 and available to buy through the PlayStation Store. PS4 discs will work on PlayStation 5 but require installation to play and for the disc to be inserted. Some PS4 games benefit from PS5's Game Boost feature, which improves resolutions and frame rates on select titles. With a frame rate boost, Days Gone's freaker hordes are even more overwhelming, and the panicked scrambles of The Last of Us Part 2 hit even harder. And before you dive into the incredible God of War Ragnarok, it is definitely worth taking the trip of 2018's God of War, which runs at a beautiful 60 frames per second on PS5. Same goes for Horizon Zero Dawn and PS4's 2016 Ratchet & Clank remake, both gorgeous to begin with and even smoother on PS5. With or without Game Boost, there are hundreds of essential PS4 games you can rediscover on PS5. Our PS4 top 10s will point you in the right direction, but for a single starting point, Bloodborne. Just get it, play it, be consumed by it. Now, whether it's cleaving your way through amygdala or playing something kinder to your nerves, you're going to stumble upon a trophy eventually. Trophies aren't much changed since PlayStation 3, but some quality of life updates makes earning them all the more exciting. Firstly, PlayStation 5 will save your trophy captures by default as a screenshot and short video clip, which you can adjust to be as short or as long as you like in your settings. You can change what type of trophy that recording happens for, whether that's everything from bronze to platinum, or reserving the special moments for gold and above. Secondly, there are now instantaneous trophy details. Pressing the PS button when you earn a trophy on PS5 lets you read the description of what you've just achieved, so when you get a random trophy pop, it is quick and easy to see what for. Perhaps it's making 50 clean headshots in a row that you totally did without trying, or watching a cat sleep for an hour straight without even realising time had passed at all. Speaking of time passing, by heading into your game catalogue, you can see exactly how many hours you've spent in your games. You're free to ignore this one though. You don't have to face that 2,000 hours in Rocket League shame unless you're ready to, my friends. One way to mix up your game diet is through PlayStation Plus. A PS Plus subscription comes in 3 tiers: Essential, Extra, and Premium, and you can hear us break them down in forensic detail in the PS Plus Explained video popping up on screen now. For a brief overview here though, with PlayStation Plus Essential, you'll have access to monthly downloadable games, exclusive store discounts, cloud storage for saved games, and online multiplayer access. Upgrading to Extra gets you all of the previous benefits, as well as access to the game catalogue, which is a constantly updating collection of downloadable titles on PS4 and PS5 that is stuffed with everything from the latest blockbusters to indie hidden gems. The Premium tier is the most, premium of the bunch, with access to everything already mentioned, as well as game trials, cloud streaming of games including PS3 titles, and the Classics catalogue, which is a collection of PlayStation, PS2, and PSP titles brought back for a new lease of life. Whichever of those you do sign up for, you'll end up with a shiny pile of games you'll want to organise into a system that works for you. Whilst the Your Collection tab of the home menu has robust sorting and filtering options, there's also the ability to make and title your own games lists that sit at the top of the page. Perhaps you want to herd your backlog in one place to keep an eye on that ever-growing list of to-play titles, or create a collection of your genre favourites to dip in and out of. Simply press this button and you can sort away. You can also pin games to home if you want even easier access, by pressing the Options button on a game on the home screen, scrolling down to Keep in Home, and toggling the slider on. Whilst we're talking about the home screen then, you can see up top there are 2 main pages for your PS5. One is Games and the other is Media, and which one you land on depends on what you turn your console on with. By default, when turning the PS5 on with the power button or your DualSense, you'll be taken to the Games page. But if you use the Media remote, a peripheral sold separately, the Media page will appear first. It's a simple click to switch between the two either way, but it's a thoughtful detail to enjoy nonetheless. The Media tab is your home for film and TV. You can use Universal Search to check across streaming apps for specific titles without having to browse each individually. There's also game suspension that works between your games and streaming apps, so you can have one of each open. Handy for when you want to watch some TV whilst eating your tea, and then jump straight back into where you left off in God of War Ragnarok. If you like to pipe music or podcasts into your head whilst you game, then the Spotify or Apple Music app is your best friend. You can start music playing from the app directly, or use the control center by pressing the PS button and scrolling to the Music tab to play from there, where it will appear as an interactive card in which you can control playback. Simply double-click the PS button to return to this card during gameplay if you need to pause or adjust settings. As for other entertainment, you can also play music or videos stored on a USB by connecting it to your PS5. Videos appear in your media gallery, and music is accessed through the Music tab in your control center, where USB drive appears as an option. Just make sure your USB has specific music and video folders in the root directory, and that files are in MKV, MP4, WEBM, FLAC, MP3, or AAC format. Your USB drive will need to be formatted to exFAT or FAT32 file system too. Physical media collectors, if you've got a PS5 with a disk drive, then rest easy that DVDs, Blu-rays, and UHD Blu-rays are all supported for playback as well. Elsewhere on your homepage, you can easily navigate to the PlayStation Store at the far left of your screen. This is built into PS5 and makes it easy to check out new games, features, and pick up your subscription benefits from PS Plus too. One of the most useful features on PS5 in this area, in my humble opinion, is the ability to wishlist games that you like the look of in the store to get notified of when they're discounted in sales. Just make sure you've toggled the wishlist updates option on through notifications in settings, and you'll get a pop-up when games you've got your eye on are available at a great price. Don't mind if I do. Finally, the last little trick I'll give you in this section is the ability to mute the home screen and game preview music from playing automatically whilst you're scrolling. No shade on those jingles, but if you want them gone, simply go to your settings, sound, audio output, and scroll down to General, where you can customize your musical experience with a range of options. Now, earlier I mentioned the control center and interactive cards, so let's take a deeper look at how PS5 works for you. Pressing the PS button opens the aforementioned control center without leaving your active game or media, and is your central hub for all things PlayStation. You can customize this to your liking by pressing the Options button whilst hovering on an icon, which allows you to move them around, add others from the hidden controls area, or move icons out if you don't use them often, aka banish them to the dark realm like the all-powerful ruler you are. Honestly, I've not had this much power over icons since Final Fantasy XVI, hey? Above the icons, you'll see dynamic cards that adapt to what you're up to on PS5, including recent gameplay. Activity cards can show trophy progress or mission progression with an estimate of how long it'll take you to complete a quest in-game. Or, if you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus, they can offer you hints on how to complete tasks without consulting a guide online. Voice chat and broadcast cards let you manage your mic and camera settings quickly, and media cards control background music or podcast playing through other apps. One of my favourite features is being able to pin cards to, or put them in picture-in-picture mode on, your screen. You can create your own trophy tracker with up to 5 trophies on the side to keep an eye on your progress, or as a little reminder to keep an eye out for certain collectibles, so you're always putting the grind in towards that platinum dream. There are also news cards that display announcements from your followed games. You'll follow games you own by default, but you can change these settings by heading to Save Data and Game/App Settings to toggle which titles appear here. To see your most recently viewed card, which is really handy for adjusting music or party settings on the fly, or looking at your trophy progress without keeping it on screen, simply double-tap the PS button for a dynamic result. You can also tailor your PS5 with custom notification pop-ups. Set these to decide whether news, alerts, online friends, trophies, and more come up during different situations, like gameplay, broadcasts, or media. There's also the option to hide content that's marked as spoilers by developers, so nothing takes you by surprise on the home screen or in your friends' screenshots that you haven't reached in your own game yet. If you're incredibly popular in real life, you should know that PS5 supports 16 users on a console, with 4 logged in at once. But if your friends live inside computers and are only spoken to through online gaming like the rest of us, then PlayStation 5's game base is your place to party. Literally, this is your social hub where you text and voice chat in parties, as well as jump into multiplayer games easily whilst bringing active party members along with you. You can also screen share to show your mates what you're up to, or use SharePlay if you're a PS Plus member to hand over control or play local co-op games without the other player even needing to own the game. If you want to chat with friends outside of PS5, you can use Discord to talk to chums on desktop, web, console, or mobile. You'll need to link your account for PlayStation Network through Discord's user settings. PS5 is designed to make being social as easy as ever, if that's your style, with integration across loads of apps like Twitch and YouTube so you can share or watch easily. For those less inclined to connecting, I see you, so the option to appear as busy is equally as exciting for those of us that prefer sacred PS5 time to be spent on your own. Now let's take a look at the Create button. This is used for screenshots and video recording, and as is the theme of this video, you can customize it to your very own media choices. Hooray! I use the Create button as a screenshot tool primarily, with one click taking a screenshot of my gameplay without a break in what's happening on screen. Holding it down for a couple of seconds opens a menu where you can start recording gameplay or save recent clips up to an hour long. Or you can double tap the Create button for simple video tools instead. Just head to the settings option here to change the format of your saved media, or adjust the default video clip length of your Create button if there are any other changes you'd like to make. You can look at your new snaps by heading to the Media Gallery, which is found in your game library by scrolling all the way to the right, unless you've opened it recently, as it'll then appear with your latest open games on the home screen. In the Media Gallery, you can copy videos and pictures onto a connected USB drive, share from your PS5, delete accidental captures, and edit pictures with stickers and text. Oh, and just a note, HDR screenshots will be taken and viewed if you're connected to a HDR display, but it will be converted to a standard JPEG when exported. Connecting your PS app to your PS5 also means you can set captures to auto-upload to the app for easy downloads and sharing, or manually upload individual pictures by selecting them in your media gallery otherwise. Very good when everyone online needs to see the extreme close-up of Ratchet's ray-traced eyeball you've taken immediately. For our lovely live streamers of the world, PlayStation 5 has built-in broadcasting options up to 4K resolution, depending on your streaming platform. Just make sure you flip this HDCP setting off in the settings menu, or your capture card will only get a black screen. As for the rest of the DualSense wireless controller, this pretty little peripheral is decked out with heaps of immersive features. You've no doubt heard about the haptic feedback, which makes running through mud, swimming through water, or skating across sand all feel remarkably distinct with targeted vibrations and pulses. Make sure to try Astro's Playroom for a great showcase of what it can do. Adaptive triggers can adapt their resistance to make firing weapons feel unique. Both have adjustable intensity and settings, and the controller as a whole can be customized to your preferred button layouts. Player indicator lights appear to denote how many DualSense wireless controllers are attached to your PS5, and who can claim that coveted Player 1 spot. And a speaker that games can utilize to make things like radio comms and ghostly voices sound like they're right in the room with you. There's also a built-in microphone that you can use for voice chat or voice commands, or even dictation features for text-to-screen. You can mute this with a single press to turn the button orange, or a long press that mutes all audio outputs to quickly silence your gameplay when someone's looking for you to do chores. If you sit really still, maybe they won't notice you. If you prefer the freedom of gyro controls that are motion-based, you can press L3 and R3 at the same time to accept the truth. Sorry, Final Fantasy 16, but you can also press those to switch to gyro settings, which turns the touchpad into more of a laptop trackpad, useful for those that prefer quick typing this way. Hot tip time again! Whilst we're talking long press, you can do the same on the PlayStation button for 10 seconds to turn off the DualSense wireless controller without going into your control center as well. Just as the PS4 had PlayStation VR, PS5 has PlayStation VR 2, a quite astonishing bit of kit that totally changes how you'll perceive games. The hardware itself borrows from the DualSense wireless controller, incorporating haptic feedback into the PSVR 2 Sense controllers and headset, as well as adaptive triggers, then elevates the immersion further with eye tracking, finger touch detection, and 3D audio technology. With all of this, and sharp 4K HDR visuals at up to 120 frames per second, it is safe to say you'll never have experienced anything quite like it before. And it's all so easy. The system connects with one USB-C wire to the front of your PlayStation 5, making VR gameplay quicker than ever to leap into. See for yourself as you cower under tall necks in Horizon Call of the Mountain, slip into Gran Turismo 7's driving seats, or take a roller coaster ride through Switchback VR hell. Also immersive that you feel like you could reach out and feel the chalky rocks, smell the burning rubber, taste the various gross fluids. Maybe not that last one. Follow the links to all our PSVR 2 coverage for more recommendations and some fun clips of Access hosts losing their minds. Finally, a few other things every PlayStation 5 owner should bear in mind. Remote play is worth taking a look at if you have a few people in your household and can't always bag the big TV. It means you can sling your PS5 games to a compatible device, like your phone or your PS4 or your PC, and play on a different screen elsewhere. Your phone in particular is a good choice if you grab PlayStation's Backbone 1, which is an attachment that adds a controller to the edges of your screen for more precise and comfortable gameplay. Oh, and for couch co-op lovers, you can also have up to 4 users per session, meaning local multiplayer games are accessible by your online pals. I've also mentioned the PlayStation app a couple of times, which is well worth downloading for all the compatible features you can pair up with your PS5. You can use it to sign in without using your password, respond to messages, add friends, organize your storage, use voice chat, make purchases on the PlayStation Store, and loads more. Just ensure you've got iOS 12.2 or later, or Android 6.0 or later to run the software. Naturally, there are still hundreds more tiny life hacks on PS5. You can check out 39 of them in our tips and tricks video. And there you have our ultimate guide to PlayStation 5 2023. What other tips would you add? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this, share with your pals that need some PS5 know-how, and subscribe to stay notified with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching.